Okay guys, Mac Maniac here. I told you I was going to do a pre-build vid for the 82K20 that's getting turboed. It's going to be receiving all GM turbo components. Yeehaw. So right now, it's bone stock. Everything is here original except for these nice big truck batteries that I've added. Still got the red motor in it. It's right at 200,000. All I've done to it since I got it at the end of last summer, I put the water pump and stuff in there, which that's horrible. You can't see anything. Over here is where most of our attention is going to be. Of course, all this crap is going to be out of the way. That's going to get cut. I think I'm going to do a clean cutaway of the core, the housing, everything that's inside there. I'm just going to do a straight cut off, and I have a fiberglass kit to put, in over what I butcher. And there, if you look, there's a half moon cut out in the inner fender well. That's close to where the exhaust will be coming off of the turbo. And on my last build, I ran outside the frame, which is what I plan on doing again. I have more exhaust this time around, so it should be pretty interesting. But the truck's clean. It's got them cool old wheels on it. It's got some rust. They all got some rust. Yeehaw. There's the dead 6.5. Maybe I can show you the hole in the cylinder. Maybe you can see that. Maybe? Not? Maybe? Bam! Yeah, and that goes all the way down to the bottom of the cylinder. Nasty. Nasty, nasty. That poor motor had better days. That was my weight this winter, so I didn't have to use my four-wheel drive all the time. Back of the truck, nothing special. Favorite thing back here is the huge pair of truck nuts. It's got a newer style rear bumper on it. Again, pretty original. Very cool though. And here, the seat underneath this is tear-free. My HD Mac floor mats. We will do like I did in my last build. I mounted a boost gauge right on the steering column. It worked out pretty well. If I ever do an EGT gauge, it will go on the other side of the column. And I will be putting some aftermarket gauges here below the ashtray. Show you what I have for components here. Another shot of the motor. Okay, what am I going to put on this thing? Well, I have 6.5 CDR, which I have a new CDR, it's the military style, and I'll be retrofitting it to use this pipe, turbo drain, turbo drain plate, upper and lower 6.5 F intakes. I have removed, shittily removed, the mounting tabs for the 6.5 fuel style, the fuel filter. They interfere with the housing of a vacuum pump on the non-serpentine 6.2. Let me just show you what I've been doing with my turbo. This is a GM3. As we all know, they suck. But for what I have, this is what I have to work with. This is a very low mile turbo after cleaning it up. I mean, the studs aren't even rusty. I mean, this thing has like no freaking miles on it. As you can see, what I've done here is I removed the back housing, the cast housing, that everyone complains about, which I think the actual diameter of this housing is an issue also for restriction. But we're going to open it up a little bit. Built a 3-inch or 3/8 steel plate. Goes over the back of the turbo, like so. Okay? I had to clean rat's nests out of this turbo. Yes, it's a barn find. I took a 5-inch pipe. It was a 90. I trimmed it down so it's a tight 90, and that fits very well to the back of this turbo. I will clock that to the position I need based on where the frame rail sits below here when I get it all in there. And I will clock it, tack it, full weld it. I need to file this plate so it doesn't leak. I got some more random exhaust pieces. This thing's going to be all 4 and 5 inch exhaust. There's a couple adapters down here, a chunk of stainless flex. I got a 5-foot 5-inch stack from a Mac. Some clampage. And turbo manifold. These marks here are marks that I made, showing where injectors interfere with this manifold with the old style heads. Now, here's an 82 head with 82 long injectors, coarse thread installed. I have been test fitting this manifold to that head, determining what I want to do. It's simply too much grinding involved to not use extra gaskets or spacers, so I got to figure something out there. Over here is the box of real goodies. Some random bracketing and clamps and stuff. These are going to be for my fuel filter mounting. I'll get to that in a second. And my assembled filter and intake boot for the turbo. Okay, here we go, the good stuff. These are the fuel filters I'm going to be running. They are large. They are for my Mac E-Tech engine, and they should be more than sufficient. Now here's why I chose to do this. I like the 2 filter setup that I have on my 6.2. However, those filters are stinking expensive for what they are. When I walk into work, I can buy these filters for $6 a piece. That's 12 bucks. Given the size of the filters and how often I drive this truck, man, I'm only going to replace these things maybe once a year, if that, maybe twice, maybe once every 2 years. And I've just been snagging crap. I'm going to use these to insulate my wiring for the glow plugs around the manifold. More random bracketing. I haven't decided where I'm going to mount these filters. I may try to do something under the truck. I also thought about using where the AC compressor is now on the truck. Since I'm going to be deleting the AC, I don't need it. I got a set of nuts, I don't need no AC. There's the fiberglass kit for doing the heater box. New boost hose. Okay, what else we got here? Here I have 6.5 lift pump, adapted very hideously down to a 3/8 barb fitting. Brand new CDR. Saw somebody post these in a tuna can post a few weeks back. These were 23 bucks new, military surplus, eBay. Sold. I will buy that. I'm going to retrofit it to work with my 6.5 valve covers. Plastic tubing for boost gauge. Here we have some brass for the boost gauge. Wiring for when I do my fuel pump. Here is an oil feed line that I need to build still for the turbo. So I will be drawing that from the back of the head. Extended Wicks oil filter. And to go with that, I have 8 quarts, 7 quarts 1540 Mobile Delvac, and 1 quart of Lucas also mixed in with that. Laying in this box is a 2.5 inch mandrel bent 6.5 crossover. I will be using this, hacking it up, modifying it to work with my 6.2 pipe on the driver's side. Boost gauge. It's like a jitterbug phone, man. Look at the size of them numbers. Believe it or not, it's kind of hard to find a decent 0 to 15 psi gauge. And this is a liquid filled gauge. I hope that doesn't act funny in boost conditions. My last gauge was very simple. I like the idea. I'm going to run low boost though, so I want to run a small sweep on my gauge. Bunch of wiring, 10 or 12 hose nipples down in here. Deleting the AC, so I got another power steering belt. Let's see what else we have. You can see O'Reilly's freaking loves me. Bunch of small hose claps for fuel lines, turbo gasket, turbo drain plate gasket. Here it is. The filter base that I will be using. Very simple. It's just a fuel in from the tank here through a primary filter, which I'll show you what I'm going to do here in a minute. But fuel in here from the tank. Primary filter, which is my red short filter, will be sucked in here by the electric lift pump. Sucked out. Now I'm going to mount the pump here. So it's going to look like kind of like one of them aftermarket units you see that you pay $450 for, but I'm in this one for, let's see here, the price of the filter is $12 and the pump, so paid $54 for that on eBay. It's a Delco pump. I'm going to mount the pump here, and so all my lines are going to be real tight right in with this, and I'm hoping to put it, you know, under the truck somewhere close to the tank. I know you guys always say that's better. Not sure why. That's what I'm going to do. My last truck, I put it in the fender well in the engine compartment. Didn't have many issues. Sometimes I'd get air in the fuel from a bad filter base I had in that truck. But yes, this will be my fuel into the secondary, which is the large green filter. It's about 1 foot long, and this will be fuel out to the injection pump. I have 20 feet of 3/8 rubber hose to work with there. Should not be a problem. Should be easy. I'm kind of concerned that I'm hoping that this lift pump has enough nuts to suck and push through all those filters. Nuts to suck. Somebody will laugh about that, I'm sure. Put some of this crap away. The exhaust is a big question of mine. I'm just going to kind of wing that and see what happens. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. Okay. But yeah, the turbo. Geez, do you think that guy's going to flow? I mean, crap. Is that big enough? Project about that. I just don't want to cut a hole in my bed, so that's going to be slung underneath on the passenger side somewhere. Should sound very good. Okay, over here is some more parts I have. I've had these for a while. They were intended for my last truck, but I just got too lazy. Gauges. I've heard some people say they suck, but you know what? They were on sale, and I'm a cheapskate, so I bought them. 20-foot of line. Exhaust manifold gaskets. Intake manifold gaskets. And, what is this? What is this? What is this? Oh, that's the 6-bolt gasket for the upper intake manifold. So I have a lot of parts amassed for this project, and I'm going to do it right here in this driveway. It's going to really, really suck. There's my homemade engine stand from like 1968. It's fucking awesome. Okay, let me show you one thing I've been contemplating on this exhaust manifold clearance issue. What you see here by my feet is a header for a Humvee. Had these, sold those, bought them back for less than I sold them for, so yeah. I cut the flanges off. Here's one side, filed. Here's the other side. Now, on these flanges, they are a pain in the freaking ass. Here's why. Down here where they weld, there is indentions here. If you try to file this surface flat with those indentions, so to ensure that a manifold gasket will not leak, you will be here forever. I tried a grinder. They're far too rough. They won't do anything worth a crap. So I stuck here with a flat file and tried doing this. It sucks. Making these spacers would just be too much freaking work for me because I want them perfectly flat so I never have a leak. And man, I filed on this thing for days, and you can still see my low spots here and here. Not really days, but long enough that I was pissed off and annoyed by it. So I will return to this idea if I have to. And one way I can make this easier of a process is when I come to do these two, which are the two I have remaining to modify, we will be taking this little welder here, which I am borrowing from a buddy specifically to do all my exhaust work. I will take that welder, fill the low spots, and simply grind them down. Leave the filing to a minimum, if that's at all possible. And yes, where I'm doing this work is far from sufficient, and it can be done much easier in a shop. There's some 6.5 heads. They're off that motor that was in the back of the truck. They are dead. They lost valves on number 6 As you can see, the hole in the block, it destroyed shit. There's a set of injectors sitting there in the darkness. Those are good. So that's my plans. I think I have enough sitting here to make this thing whistle, and it should run a little better. Hopefully I don't kill it too soon. And if you guys have any questions or comments, by all means let me know. This is something I think we might start seeing more of with the turbo thing, and it's really not hard. I mean, I found this as a chunk of frame rail out of a Mac Semi. Geez, everything I have is from a Mac, isn't it? Well, I took that, cut it. Took a little bit of modification, like to get the wastegate arm to clear. It's very close still, within, you know, several thousandths, but I'm happy with it. And I'm happy with this turbo. I paid nothing for this turbo, and it's like pretty sexy on the inside there. And you know, hopefully we might start seeing more of this. This might prove to be a good innovation. 67C30 did one a few years back, and his vid is still on the YouTube, and I watch it, and we can't find out, you know, how that ever turned out for him, if it did good or what. So bear with me here. Let's see if this thing starts. It's been quite some time. Actually, you know what? Shit, I just put the kids to bed. We better not do that. That's too loud. Too loud. I am ready to get this thing on ramps and freaking go to town on it. I'm so tired of working on stuff from being at work that I don't want to do it, but I'm staring at all these parts every night. And then I go in there and post to you guys, and I just get antsy as crap. Missing my turbo sound, my turbo power, everything that's great about a turbo. Even though it's not, it's not like I even drive the truck really either. So, yeah. There's some fittings for my oil feed for the turbo. Those buggers are expensive. Even at my cost, those buggers are expensive. Yeah, I guess I'll let you guys go. My old lady stole my lighter, so I'm on a quest to find a flame. I need a cigarette. Peace out.